I'm from Freedom Christian Academy, and the expressive reading I would like to do for you is entitled, He's My Only Son. The day is over, and as you are driving home, you tune in your radio and hear a little blurb about a little village in India where some villagers have died very strangely and suddenly of a flu. It's not influenza, but 3 to 4 people are dead. It's kind of interesting, and they are sending some doctors over to investigate it. You don't think much about it, but on Sunday, coming home from church, you hear another radio spot. Only this time, it's not just 3 villagers. It's 30,000 people in the Black Hills of this particular area of India. CNN runs a little blurb about it, and people are heading over there from the disease center in Atlanta because this strain of disease has never been seen before. By Monday morning, it's the lead story, for it's not just India. It's Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Iran. Before you know it, you are hearing the story everywhere, and they have coined it now as the mystery flu. The president has made some comment about how he and everyone are wondering how they're going to contain it. That's when the president of France makes an announcement that shocks Europe. He is closing their borders. No flights from India, Pakistan, or any of the other places this thing has been seen. And that is why, that night, you're watching a little bit of CNN before going to bed. Your jaw hits your chest when a weeping woman is translated from a French news program into English. A man is lying in a hospital in Paris, dying of the mystery flu. He has come to Europe. Panic strikes. As best they can tell, once you get it, you have it for a week before you know it. And then you have 4 days of unbelievable symptoms. And then you die. Britain closes its borders, but it's too late. Southampton, Liverpool, Northampton. And it's Tuesday morning when the President of the United States makes the following announcement. Due to a national security risk, all flights to and from Europe and Asia have been canceled. If your loved ones are overseas, I'm sorry. They cannot come home until we find a cure for this thing. Within 4 days, our nation is plunged into an unbelievable fear. People are talking about, oh, what if it comes to this country? And preachers on Tuesday are saying it's the scourge of God. It is Wednesday night, and you're at a church prayer meeting, when someone runs in from the parking lot and yells, turn on a radio, turn on a radio. And as your church listens to a little transistor radio with a microphone stuck up to it, the announcement is made. 2 women are lying in a Long Island hospital, dying of the mystery flu. Within hours, it seems, this thing sweeps across the nation. People are working around the clock to find an antidote, and nothing is working. And it's spreading so fast, it's as if it's just sweeping in from the borders. And then suddenly, the news comes out. The code has been broken. A cure can be found. A vaccine can be made. It's going to take the blood of someone who hasn't been infected. And so, sure enough, through all those channels of emergency broadcasting, everyone is asked to do one simple thing. Go to your downtown hospital and have your blood type taken. That is all we ask of you. When you hear the sirens go off in your neighborhood, please make your way quickly, quietly, and safely to the hospitals. Sure enough, when you and your family get down there late that Friday night, there's a long line, and they have nurses and doctors coming out, pricking fingers, taking blood, and putting labels on it. Your wife and your kids are there, and they take your blood, and they say, wait here in the parking lot. And when you hear your name, you are dismissed and can go home. You stand around scared with your neighbors, wondering what in the world is going on, and if this is the end of the world. Suddenly, a young man comes running out of the hospital. He's yelling a name and waving a clipboard. What? He yells it again, and your son tugs on your jacket and says, Daddy, Daddy, that's me. And before you know it, they grabbed your boy. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. It's okay. His blood is clean. His blood is pure. We think he's got the right type. We want to make sure he doesn't have the disease. 5-10 minutes later, out come the nurses and doctors, crying and hugging one another. Some are even laughing. It's the first time you have heard anybody laugh in a week. And that's when an old doctor comes up to you and says, thank you, sir. Your son's blood is perfect. It is clean. It is pure. We can make the vaccine. As the word begins to spread across that parking lot full of folks, people are screaming, praying, laughing, and crying. That's when the doctor pulls you and your wife aside and says, may we see you for a moment? We didn't realize the donor would be a minor, and we need you to sign a consent form. You begin to sign, and then you see that the number of pints to be taken is empty. How many pints? And that's when the doctor's smile fades and he says, we didn't realize the donor would be a little child. We weren't prepared. We need it all. What? I don't understand. He's my only son. We're talking about the world Please, will you please sign? And in numb silence, you do. And when they ask you if you would like to have a moment with him before you begin, could you walk back? Could you walk back into that room where your son sits on a table saying, Mom, Dad, what's going on? Could you take his hand and say, son, your mommy and I love you, and we would never let anything happen to you that just didn't have to be. Do you understand that? And when that doctor comes back in and says, I'm sorry, people all over the world are dying, we need to begin. Could you leave? Could you walk out when your son is crying? Mom, Dad, why? Why have you forsaken me? And the next week, when they have the ceremony to honor your son, and some folks sleep through it, and some folks don't even bother to come because they have better things to do, and some folks come with just a pretentious smile and just pretend to care, would you want to jump up and say, excuse me,